Hello everyone, thanks for pressing play. You are watching a brand new episode of Talking Comics, ExcaliburCCGTV, where every week we come together to tell you about the great comics that are hitting the shelf. We are talking about the new comics for this Wednesday, November 23rd, 2016. I am Chris.
And I am Randy.
We are Excalibur Comics, Cards, and Games here in Shreveport, Louisiana, as well as in Texarkana, Texas. You can always find out what's going on with us at our website, ExcaliburCCG.com. And follow us on Facebook and Twitter as well. The links are in the description. Guys, special announcement.
Huge.
Very huge. Especially for if you're local, and especially anybody else who can be here. But this coming weekend, Black Friday weekend, November 25th, Black Friday, this coming up Friday, we have a Black Friday offer that you will need to follow us on Facebook to know more about, or join our email newsletter on our website, ExcaliburCCG.com, because information about that is being held close to the vest.
That's right.
And it will be revealed maybe Thanksgiving, but probably not.
Yeah,
but
maybe it'll be there that morning for you to look at and see.
Black Friday morning, possibly. So, guys,
make sure you're active.
Exactly. Make sure that you're there. Make sure you're on Facebook. Make sure you're or on our email list, because we do have some special stuff coming up for Black Friday.
Fun.
Yes, very, very fun. So, guys, that's all we're doing for Black Friday. You join us on Facebook, join the email list. That's the best way to know what's going on for all of our locals. For anybody else that will be in the area, if you're visiting from out of town, visiting family and stuff, come on by and say hi. So, guys, another special shout out that I want to do for this video, Robert Perizek. You are awesome, dude. Guys, Robert is one of our fans, part of our community here. He has the website BetweenTheStaples.com, and he does comic book news. They have their own podcast on there as well. But he recently got one of our shirts and then went to the Vancouver, Canada Fan Expo. He lives in Canada. He went to the Fan Expo in Vancouver with our shirt. It was like all around. Y'all, you see these pictures that we're posting now, but he even got to meet Neil McDonough, the guy who plays Dum Dum Dugan in the Captain America movies and in Agent Carter, and the guy who's playing Damien Dark right now on the Arrow series and on the current Legends of Tomorrow TV series. Plus, he's just an acting veteran. He's been around for years, done tons of stuff. So special shout out to Robert for getting the shirt, and then for just sharing it with everybody there in Canada. You are awesome, bro. Thanks for doing that. We really appreciate you being a part of our community. Keep up the awesome work.
So when you say Vancouver, Canada,
that's
not like Vancouver, Brazil, or Vancouver, France.
Yes, I had to specify, because we had that here in the States. There's Paris, Texas, there's Paris, France.
People, when they talk about they're going to Paris, they're not talking about going to Paris, Texas. People, when they're talking about going to Vancouver, they're not talking about going to some other Vancouver.
Here in Louisiana, if they talk about Paris, they have to clarify. I've had people have to clarify.
Localize. We're talking to a nationwide audience.
We're talking to an international audience. International. So special shout out to Robert for that. Thanks, bro. Thanks for representing Excalibur Comics, Cards, and Games. Exactly. So, guys, look, not a huge week again, but we do have several things that we're going to cover with you guys, and we have quite the question of the week. Wouldn't you agree, sir?
It's going to be a controversial one.
You guys will have lots to say about it. We'll have lots to say. We'll probably have to limit it. But guys, let's go ahead and dive in to the new number ones that we're covering for this week. Coming out this Wednesday, November 23rd, Image Comics is bringing us quite the dynamic duo. With this first series that we're covering, we have AD, After Death, number 1, dropping this week. 3-issue miniseries, correct? With none other than Scott Snyder and Jeff Lemire.
Yeah.
These are names that we have mentioned. Scott Snyder has done a huge run and still continuing to work on Batman at this time. We have Jeff Lemire, who's done all kinds of stuff, currently writing like 5 or 6 books at this time, drawing. Now he's drawing this series as well. But this book takes a look at this simple question: what if we found a cure for death? It's set in the future where a genetic cure for death has been found, and years after its discovery, this story focuses on one man that starts to question everything. leading him down a journey that will bring him face to face with his past and his mortality. So guys, here we go. It's going to be a 3-issue series, oversized, prestige format books, written by Snyder and fully drawn and painted by Jeff Lemire. It's on my pull list.
Oh, definitely.
Definitely so. What's up for you, Randy?
We've got the series just ended, and they are restarting it already. Ultimates Squared. They're not calling it Ultimates 2. Ultimates Squared, #1. Al Ewing this time's teaming up with Travel Foreman. It's who was it?
Kenneth Rockefort.
Kenneth Rockefort gone off to do other things now. We're taking a look. We have this big question. Who is the Cosmic Jailer? Who is this being that is so powerful he can chain, imprison eternity itself? Galactus intends to figure this out.
Okay.
And even though the United States and I guess the United Nations said to keep all of these superpowered beings apart, Galactus thinks the only people that can help him solve this are the progressive minds of the Ultimates. So he's going to pull them in to help solve this cosmic mystery here. So big, intense, and I guess something has happened that they've all decided to kiss the boo-boos that were made in Civil War II and make up. So they're back together.
I mean, it's just so, like, just brushed over, right?
Probably this more than any other book, because they betrayed and everything, and now they're like, hey, buddy, let's go save the universe.
Exactly. So there we go, guys. Another one, I know this character has a cult following decades and decades long and old, but guys, Venom, #1, drops this week by Mike Costa and Gerardo Sandoval. And this is taking a look at the symbiote that you all know and you love, returning to New York City, no longer an agent in the cosmos, no more lethal protector. It's a new Venom, and it's going to be bad. So guys, if you're a fan of Venom, this is your week. Enjoy Venom #1 dropping.
So no more Flash Thompson. Probably not. And the whole mystery, which, again, it's almost like the Rogue thing, where after decades, they finally solve and give you an answer, and then they're like, we're going to pretend like that never happened. So, fixing the symbiote into what it's supposed to have been, they're going to go, I don't think the fans who really like Venom like that much. Let's make them the brain-eating whatever thing again.
Are you talking about like what they did in Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yeah.
Where we got,
They progressed. They told this story that made sense.
Yeah.
And then they went.
It was
back
a whole thing.
It was a thing.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
So it is what it is, I guess.
Yeah. So what would be the cause of the undoing of all that?
Yeah. I don't know.
We'll find out.
I don't know
if they even explain.
They just put a Band-Aid over the problem, and so now it's too big and can't be contained. I don't know.
Exactly.
I don't know. We got one fun one out there from DC Comics for all ages. This is Superpowers #1, 6-issue miniseries. Yeah. Art Balthazar. We've seen his art all over the place at Dark Horse and at DC before. Mm-hmm. But this time he is taking a look at the Trinity. He's taking a look at Batman. Well, not necessarily Batman, because even though he's on the cover, he's not there with Wonder Woman and Superman.
Okay.
Superman is doing some cleanup in Gotham, and he finds some clues as to Batman's whereabouts. When he tells Wonder Woman, all signs are pointing for her that she needs to travel to space to find the Cape Crusader, and we just need to figure out what exactly has Batman doing in space. Space stuff.
Working on his Bat Cave on the moon.
Trying to figure out who chained Eternity. Unofficial crossover. That would be kind of awesome.
It would be fun. Joined up, Batman and Galactus joined up. So guys, those are the new #1s that we're covering for this week. There are some others that are coming out, be it your local shop or whatever, but those are the main ones that we're covering for this week. Let's dive into some storylines that we have. Got a couple of different ones, all from Marvel, but guys, the main one, I believe this is the last issue of it.
No, it's not.
We still
made
one more.
It into 8.
That's right. There
because
it is.
Bendis changed the ending.
That's exactly right. Now that I remember that now. Civil War #7 drops this week, guys. And all they're telling us about this is that the war ends.
But not quite. Because there's another issue.
Yeah, there's just another issue. So it hasn't really ended. Maybe for someone in this issue, we'll find out. Because we've already had some other stuff kind of spoiled for us with the release of some of this new stuff. But guys, there we go. Civil War 2, number 7, dropping this week.
Over in Captain Marvel number 10, we're looking at the final showdown between Carol and Tony. Probably may show not so much everything that's going to happen in the main title. I don't know. We'll see. We'll read it. We'll figure it out together. He can't speak.
I gotta move on, guys. Prowler number 2 drops this week. A clone conspiracy tie-in issue. Hobie Brown, the Prowler, believes in what the Jackal is doing, but it doesn't mean it's easy to actually support the Jackal in all of this. Plus, he's having to work with Madam Web and use her precognitive powers for what they're doing, but can he trust her? That's the question being asked in this issue.
Finally, we've got the Death of X wrapping up here with Death of X number 4. Yep. This is the issue that begs the question. Does Marvel really know what they're doing with any of their stories at this point? This is Death of X. This has been told that this is the Inhuman X-Men battle that happened 8 months ago that decided the fate of Cyclops and Emma Frost. And this issue, they're telling us this is the first true battle. It's the last issue. How is those of you that have been reading it, have you been like upset that 3 issues have come out and there have been no battle so far? That's kind of silly. It begs the question.
That's that decompressed story.
Do they know what's going on?
I mean, I guess they're. This has always really seemed to me, once I found out that they're doing the Inhumans versus X-Men story, and this is just a setup for that. Just a setup for that. So
there'll then be a setup for something else. There'll be a setup for something else. There's nothing that's really finite, nothing that sticks. And, you know, if it becomes late, which it usually does, they then lose interest in it and go on to the next story.
Yeah.
Time to fix it, guys. Much like Venom.
So then exactly. So then we had this, and then we had the Inhumans versus X-Men 6-issue miniseries coming, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And then after that, if I'm not mistaken, is the Resurrection stuff. So
Resurrection.
There we go, guys. So guys, there we go. We could go down so many rabbit holes right now. But we can't. We won't. We can't do that. We can't do that. Guys, it's time for some of our favorites. These are the comics that we get every month, month in, month out. Some of our favorites that we love to read. It'll be at the top of our stack of comics that we take home. Randy, what are some of your favorites hitting this week?
I got 2 tried, true, tested books coming out. Great story and art every single time. Dept H number 8 from Dark Horse is coming out with this one. Mia and the crew, they have found something huge, scientifically groundbreaking, and they don't know what they're going to do with it because everybody on the crew is bickering right now. They're at each other's throats. Meanwhile, over in Harrow County, number 18, also Dark Horse, we're taking a look at wrapping up the 2-issue storyline where Carlos B. McNeil's been in on filling in on the art. Okay. That's looking at the Abandoned and finding out that the Abandoned was once part of the family that discovered. Geez, why am I forgetting? Emmy discovered. Mm-hmm. And so it will, we get to see exactly what's happened there with this person, supernatural being, witch. I don't know what they're considered at that point in time. Paint, I guess, is the most common term that we'd be looking for with what they've become. Right. But so we get to see just what exactly has happened to cause this person to become like they are, and how they possibly can form a bond with Emmy for future battles, shall we say.
Cool. Very cool.
Very good stuff.
I'm a little behind on reading Harrow County, but
top notch.
It has been great, guys. Y'all should check it out. Some that I'm looking forward to. Black Monday Murders number 4 drops this week. This is the conclusion of the first story arc here. But we get to attend a funeral here of a family member that's the head, or one of the heads, of the world's secret houses of money. Man, that last issue, number 3, I reread that issue, and I was like, oh, dude, that was so good. The main guy that the detective was questioning, that character was like, wow. I was like, wow, that nobody has any idea what they're dealing with when they're dealing with this particular guy, this character. So guys, check out Black Monday Murders #4. Since this is the end of the first story arc, we should have the first trade out here in the next month or two as well. So check it out, have fun with that. And then Randy, what's the name of this other book?
Oh, okay, that's The Goddamned.
Yeah, #5. I don't feel comfortable saying the title.
Understood.
But I do enjoy the story. And this takes a look at Genesis, the book of Genesis from the Bible, chapter 9, verse 6. Whosoever sheds human blood, by humans shall their blood be shed. Still taking a look at Adam in this storyline and what's going on with him. Another great series by the same team that brought us Scout several years ago. Check it out, guys, if you haven't already.
You were like a surfer in your past life.
Why is that?
The way, like, your descriptions of books, how to describe a book to people by Chris Hunter. Dude, wow! Oh my gosh, yes, amazing! Wow, dude! Without ever telling you a single thing about the book, you can give us like all this reaction there. It's hilarious to watch. I love it.
I was a skater. I never was a surfer, but I was a skater.
Oh, you were a skater.
Skateboarder. So there we go. Yeah.
Okay.
So land surfing. There we go.
Let's see. Did you have like the giant pant legs, the jeans with those like 48-inch?
No,
Oh,
I never wore that, man. No, I never wore that stuff. So, guys, those are some of our favorites dropping this week. Now you know what time it is. It's time for our pick of the week. The one comic that we will not leave the shop without, regardless of any circumstances. It can be anything that we've talked about in this video or anything that you're looking forward to. Randy, you will not leave the shop without what issue?
Harrow County leaves the shop with me.
Harrow County it is.
Absolutely. It's tough, but the book is awesome.
It's a great book. For me, I'm not leaving without AD After Death.
See, that's up there because, I mean, I've got 3 of my favorite creators out there.
I know, that's right?
Like Matt Kent and Jeff Lemire and Colin Bunn telling me all his great stories on Harrow County.
Yeah. Yeah. And I got a chance to read Thanos.
Oh, I haven't read it yet.
Anyway, so guys, tell us your pick of the week down in the comments below. Don't spoil Thanos for Randy. Don't do that. Don't do that. But guys, tell us your pick of the week. The one comic that we've discussed or we haven't, just one that you're looking forward to really much. And tell us what it is that you will not leave the comic shop without. Tell us in the comments below. Let's have a conversation about it. Are you ready?
I'm getting prepared.
Are you ready?
Let's do it.
Guys, time for our question of the week. There have been a lot of recent developments within the comic book creator community since the election of President-elect Donald J. Trump to be president, our next president, the 45th president of the United States of America. So anybody can weigh in on this. Obviously, being the president of the United States doesn't just affect the United States; it affects the world in many capacities in many areas. But within the professional creator community and comic book community, there are people that have already declared that they will not visit, they will not go to cons, conventions in any of the states won by President-elect Donald Trump. There's several that have expressed that. There have been several other comic creators that were for or pro-Trump, and they're losing friends. They're losing fellow creators on various social media aspects. It's really affected the comic creative community in a big way. So our question to you is simply this: should comic creators boycott Trump or red states won by Donald Trump in the 2016 presidential election? What do you think about that? Randy, should comic creators boycott red states? What do you think?
People in all states voted for both candidates, so it's really hard to, if you go to a blue state, to know that the person walking up to you was a person who voted for Hillary Clinton or who voted for Donald Trump. So that really kind of makes it a bit murky. So I don't know. I will say I'll say this, guys. I am not a political person by any means. I am a social person. I feel very strongly about social issues, not political issues. And
it's kind of both, isn't it?
No, well, they say that. They say that. But man, those were... I'm going to offend somebody out there. If we could have had an election between... This election was basically saying, here's a pile of shit and here's a pile of shit, which one tastes better?
Yeah. Different candidates.
Yeah. And so, for people to... then it's not so much about the candidates as I think it is about jumping on what their parties believe in and how their party can be or must be the right party. And Trump was not the smartest person in how he riled up issues. Mm-hmm. And so I think half of the things he said, which because I just don't think the guy thinks half the time, really touch on some tender points for the other side and some very important points, stuff I feel very strongly about. So, but in this business, I don't know how you can let that affect you. I mean, I've gone on record as saying that comics should not be a soapbox for pushing your political beliefs, and I feel like this is in another sense somewhat doing that. I'm kind of all over the place, but I'm just I'm not in any way a Trump supporter beyond the means of saying he will be our president, and that's that. But I mean, it's not something where I'm going to bash the guy either. I'm not doing either one there. I'm kind of abstaining from the whole situation. Apparently, I am one of the few doing that, according to what we're seeing here.
Right, but how do you feel about these creators? Some of them very fan beloved creators. And now, because of these declarations that they've made and changes they've made to their schedule and their work life and stuff that they said, now that they won't go to these states where they have fans. How do you feel about that? Because boycotting the states also means boycotting the fans there.
I think it's fairly short-sighted. I don't think that some of them are necessarily thinking it through. You've shown me. We went through and looked at a couple of these. You showed me Tony Harris, and you showed me Scott Lobdell's comments, and I thought those were much more along my style of thinking. That this is a business that's not in the world of politics.
Yes.
And so they are going to go about it as a business that is creating comics and not the world of politics. And that, to me, is probably the most logical choice with it. But I think it's a little short-sighted because, how many people are going to turn around and boycott their work now? Boycott their... And, I mean, you could be looking at huge numbers in sales that possibly drop off because of that.
Yeah.
And... so suddenly you find yourself no longer being able to possibly support your family like you used to, be able to have the freedom to do your independent comics like you used to, different things like that. That's where I think the short-sightedness is with it, because, I mean, if the population is large enough that's upset by this, then it could be a big enough wave to affect their career. It's their prerogative if they want to do that. They feel like strongly enough about it that you're not going to stop them. I'm not going to stop them. They're going to do that. I mean, the only one that I think has it made in the shade is George Perez, who doesn't have to draw another comic ever again. Doesn't have to go to another convention ever again, because he is set with his royalties for his characters there. Everybody else, they may not quite be in those shoes.
Yeah. This is. I think this is crazy, on so many levels. The two most outspoken ones that we've come across so far. There may be other ones that have said that they will not do convention in the red states. Is Humberto Ramos, which at this time I'm not even sure if he is living in the United States. I'm not sure if he still resides in Mexico.
He may. I think he is in Mexico, but he travels.
He travels
quite a bit.
And then George Perez, who lives in Florida.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know what their schedules are, but I do know that George Perez has said that he will fulfill his current commitments that he has already obligated himself to. But after that, he's not going to do anything in any of those red states, including Florida,
including his home state.
So he's not even going to be a part of one of the main conventions that he's been a part of there for several years. There's a convention there that he's one of the big stars at.
Yeah.
And it's kind of sad too because I just took pictures with him. Like just a month or two ago, you know, I was like, "What? Come on!"
See, I'm not going to get too as involved with that or emotional about that as you are, because I mean, obviously, I think this really sways or touches something there. But I've lived long enough with knowing enough people who are very passionate about politics that it's not surprising to me that someone makes a statement like this and does something like this. And so, at this point in time, I don't let it weigh on. I don't know him personally. I don't let it weigh on me to that effect. I think, but yeah, you really do have. I mean, you've been following you've been following George Perez's career, for some time. I mean, he's been one of your favorite creators for some time.
Yeah.
So I could see where it does maybe touch something in you.
I just don't get this type of thinking because as you stated earlier, and which is basic common sense to anyone that lives in America, is that there's going to be just because that state was a red state still does not mean that there were not blue supporters. That there and just because that state was won by Trump or by the Republican Party here in the U.S., it still doesn't mean that you don't have fans there. You still don't have people that want to see you and meet you and give you their money. That is not how that equates. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
And then now it's an issue. Now because they're a red state, it's an issue. Those people have still been there the entire time.
Right.
It's not like everything just everybody moved states in the last 2 or 4 years.
Right.
That's just a very childish, immature reaction to this. And then also, if you really feel that unsafe about it, or if you really want to boycott, then don't allow your product to be sold in those states. Why don't you do that? I think this is just an asinine, immature way of looking at all of this, and for some creators, maybe Humberto Ramos doesn't know how this all works or is not familiar with all this because, like I mentioned, I still think he lives in Mexico.
Yeah,
but. It's ridiculous the stuff that's going on, but there are some creators like Tony Harris who's like, you know what, it's not going to affect me at all because I have fans in all of those states and I'm doing what I'm doing because of those fans. And I'm not going to hold any of this stuff against them. Same for Scott Lobdell, basically is what he said. And
he said he talks comics with fans when they come up to him. He doesn't talk politics with the fans.
Exactly.
And that to me is my favorite thing because I'm in this. I work in this business. I read comics and stuff for the sake of reading comics, enjoying the art, enjoying stories about characters that are archetypes, and not necessarily reading something that's a political hot topic. That's not why I read the comics. Exactly. And so I think I probably echo that. I will say that we had Rosenberg had the great. I like his idea quite a bit where he said, "Look, if you're going to come up to me, I will go to the red states. If you're going to come up to my table, donate to the worthy causes there." And I guess he's going to have some choices with it, but that to me that's not just getting behind a keyboard and doing something. That's not going out and protesting and doing something. It's being proactive, and it's saying let's give money to these places, and let's show me that you're willing to put up, or that you care about this, or that there's something here. And so that right there, I really like that concept. It's something I can get behind this is such a unique circumstance because you've never had. You have to think. So many of the comic creators come from various backgrounds where they are minorities, where they are LBGT, where they are something that is not that has had comments said about them, and we've never had that happen just so blatantly outright during a presidential election, where that so I can see where some might feel passionate because that is their life and what surrounds them, but you know, geez, boy, you gave us a great
yeah, but then also as we've seen as well, it's also affecting. It's like if any creator was not for the Democratic side or for blue states, then they're being shunned. I mean, and this could be affecting their livelihood because now they're losing relationships with other creators and stuff they've worked with before. It could
considered
affect
friends.
Yeah, you know, it's just this is crazy. This is crazy. So guys, we could go on and on.
What I will say is this is the personal views of Chris and Randy being expressed here. This is not the comic shop being expressed here.
Right.
And what I really ask of you guys is if you're going to respond, please try to use a level head, calm head in responding. Don't sit there and call people stupid. Don't sit there and Don't do that. You know, have something that is going to be on topic, talking about this, or you know, the pros and cons of something like this.
Yeah, that's a great point.
You know, we want to stay on this topic because I know we have some very conservative people that come in our comic shop, and we have some very liberal people that come in our comic shop, and I don't want to harm anybody's feelings with anything that's being said here. So just know these are personal expressions. To me, it's more pontificating on stuff.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, I am not a political person. So
and guys, for me personally, it's these people. It's their rights to do whatever they want to do. If that's what they feel. If they feel like that's something they should do, to boycott these states that voted for Trump and stuff like that, that's their right. I'm not against that at all. Do I agree with it? No, not really. Not
so
really at all.
That's what we're saying.
So,
he on the personal level doesn't
exactly,
but he's not telling them to stop.
Yeah, I don't hate anybody, or I'm not going anywhere to track them down, stalking. That's not the case at all. But guys, have a civil discussion. Let's have a civil discussion in the comments down below. Should comic creators boycott red states? Be civil about it. Show some restraint. But guys, if you have some insight or a point of view that you would like to express, please do so civilly. Let's talk about it and have a civil discussion in the comments down below, and have fun with that. Man, I think that's gonna be a bomb, baby.
and let me say, there aren't everybody that I see on this list that are creators that I ever would have wanted to know, but the people that or to meet, but the people that I do want to meet. Mm-hmm. This hasn't affected my wanting to meet them in any way. I still want to meet those creators, very much so. You know, so
that's cool. So, guys, that's the show for this week. Thanks for watching. We really, really appreciate it. Anything else to add, sir?
Whew. Have fun.
Guys, thanks for watching. Hey, if you haven't already, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up down below. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter. And guys, that are all of our local people, remember, follow us on Facebook or join our email newsletter to find out what's going on for Black Friday, November 25th, 2016. Got some special stuff for you. That's it for this week, guys. So thanks for watching. Until next time, read some great comics. Leave us some fantastic comments down below, and we'll see you in our next video. Bye-bye.
Hopefully.